I believe all of you are BSIT. Does anybody here outside from that course? Lahat ba? Lahat ba BSIT? So I guess it is. Ooh. Welcome to the CS. Because when we were in college, we don't have BSIT, so all of us are computer science student. Um, are you able to see my screen? Yeah. Okay, I see reactions. Ang hapot. Share. So yep, I don't know if open presenters view. Oh, okay, gotcha. So I'm going to probably you see me looking at the other side of the monitor because I'm looking on this side. Um, just to see my presentation and the presenters view as well. So welcome everyone. I want to start with a simple reality that most system failures don't start with a disaster. So hindi siya nag-start just in one disaster. They start a small and ignored issue. As a database and DevOps professional, I've seen that failures are rarely caused by one thing. Sometimes multiple things yan na hindi nyo napapansin. So if you're planning to become a DevOps engineer, a database engineer, whatever engineer under the computer systems, all of this should be looked into. Hindi dapat niyo yan, small things should be always looked into. Dapat hindi niyo pinapabayaan. Because that small thing can grow big and that will cause a total system breakdown. They happen when multiple weak layers align, especially applications. So database always serves the application level. So when application starts having a weak layers as well as the database, and we have what we call the governance and security. When this happen, a total failure of the system and an exposed data will of course happen. So today I will walk you through how those failures happen, why they happen, and how we can prevent them. So let's start. Okay, before with that, I would like to share my background, why I'm a DBA, and how I become a DBA. So I have my bachelor's degree in computer science and, of course, a Naga College Foundation. I was a part-time instructor teaching major computer science subject, including database management system for about 3 years. And then I moved to industry. I started moving industry around 2017 as a system engineer for a Japanese automotive manufacturing company. And I was assigned in Japan for approximately a year. So my rule my work there is to develop system, innovate processes, and manage database servers, including performance optimizations of the SQLs. And then after that, I moved to Batangas again as a database server engineer in Epson. So I focused on database improvement, migration, data replication, automation of configurations of databases, and automation of the applied updates and performance optimizations as well. And now, after that years, I become a senior database administrator at Solutions IRTW at Cardance. It's a US company. So what I do is I manage the enterprise database system and infrastructure, lead the process flow optimization and architectural integration or redesigning for new project implementation. So I also worked closely with the DevOps team and provide level 3 supports if they need to ensure database performance, scalability, stability, and high availability. So that's my work. Yes, I work in the evening. And as of the moment, wala pa po akong tool. And yep, let's start our discussion. Hopefully, hindi po ako mabilis magsalita. Let me know kung nabibilisan kayo sa akin. And just put a comment and Sir Ronald will just read it for me. Okay? And then if you have question, you may ask that later, or you may raise your hands anytime if you have questions. So, just a fair warning, database administrator is actually boring for some people. Oh, you don't do development. Oh, you just sit there. That's not actually true. So, it is only boring until you realize how much data you've been mismanaging or your company mismanaging. So because of this issue, um, some issues are rare. They exist in active systems today. So most of the issue are just in that systems. You just don't see it. Things like over permission, over permission user, all of you are using the admin rights that shouldn't be happening. Untested backups, so you thought your backup are working, but when you restore that, you have no data at all. Slow queries ignored for months, so you thought that slow queries, oh, because it's too many data, but that's not the right thing. That there shouldn't be a slow query after all. And then the goal here is not to blame anybody, not to blame the DevOps, not to blame the data analyst, not to blame the DBA, but to increase awareness and maturity in how we handle data systems. So, do you have any questions with that? Okay, so of course we just talk before we start, we talk about what is a database. But I'm not going to give you the theory of what is a database, but rather I'm going to give you the DBA for insights of a database. When we say database, we often think of tables and storage. But in reality, a database is the systems of record. It is a system. It is not just a tables. It is not just a columns. It is not just a data. This is the decision engine. So whatever you can decide, whatever you will decide, it should be in the data of the database. And sometimes this is the single point of failure. When the database system fails, the application, all of the other connected applications fails. Actually, this is a single point. Pag nag-fail ang database nyo, fail lahat. So every business, critical decision, financial operation, and like analytical depends on the accuracy and availability of the database. So technically, we most of the systems rely on how the database, how fast the database, how available the database is. If your database is wrong, slow, or compromised, your entire system becomes unreliable. For example, you're checking your bank account and the banking system that you have a very slow process. Pag check nyo pa lang, pag login nyo pa lang, ang tagal nyo nang makalagin. That is a process under a database. Part yun. So let's go deeper into usage of modern databases. Databases don't just store data, they drive behavior. So actually whatever you have that you can get is depends on the behavior that you put into the database. They feed AI models, dashboards, and automations. For example, fraud detection systems rely on historical pattern stored in the databases. So what are those? For example, you actually have historically every Saturday you just used your card to pay different purchases. Suddenly, from Monday to Friday, your history changed, and that is a fraud detection. The database will send a notification into the application layer that this history changed. So that is a fraud detection. Recommendation system depends on users' behavior actually, and real-time system depends on the low latency reads and writes. So this means, sorry, um, where am I? So this means the performance, consistency, and availability are not optional on the database. They are critical. You shouldn't choose performance. Oh, I'm going to choose the SQL Server because this is fast. No. You choose performance, consistency, and availability. It should be all of them are in your database system. Okay? So when you choose that, you have to think of all of this. So let's move on to the types of databases. This is where the architecture decisions comes in. So different databases exist because of different trade-offs. There are better consistency versus availability. There are structure versus flexibility, speed, and durability. So magkakaiba yon. But all of them exist, but some of them are better from the other types of databases. So we have relational databases, NoSQL, cloud, and in-memory. Marami pang iba. We have timescale databases, we have graph databases. So, para saan yun? Relational databases enforce strict consistency. These are the financial datas actually. So because RDB are really using the ACID, which is atomicity and consistency, isolation, and durability. This is a transactional based. That means if the transaction fails, it fails. If the transaction succeeded, it is successful. And you cannot get the transaction from another transaction. So, hindi siya magagalaw. So, if, for example, you're in a banking system, you're trying to process a transaction, and then the other part of the banking system trying to process that transaction as well, that transaction will just going to finish first before that other transaction can get that process. So it is the atomicity. Kailangan niyang tapusin muna bago i-process. So walang records na inconsistent. So sa NoSQL server naman, system, relax ang constraint niya for scalability. Bahala ka to design the document. So whatever you feed, NoSQL database just going to accept that. So in memory system naman, the trade is the durability for speed. Mabibilis ang in-memory system because it uses the cache memory. However, the durability is not as it is good, but it still can be. Ito yung mga transactional based systems. For as a computer engineer, our job is to choose the right compromise for the workload. Ano yung system na gagamitin nyo? Ano yung system na gagawin nyo? Ano yung klaseng data na kailangan nyo? Ano yung klaseng data na itatago nyo? So, doon nyo malalaman kung ano ang database system or type na kailangan nyo. So, you just not choose because mabilis or alam nyo. You don't just choose because dyan kayo magaling. No, it depends always on the system that you use and the data that you will store. So when selecting databases, we don't just look features, we look into the behavior under load. For example, we have PostgreSQL that handles complex joins rather than SQL Server, which for strong enterprises tooling and security. So sa MongoDB naman, it handles evolving kinds of schema. Bahala ka nga kung anong gagawin mo sa MongoDB. Ang Redis naman, ito yung caching. It is in-memory database. So more of the real-time workloads. But the key points here is misusing database is one of the fastest way to create system failure. For example, your system is a banking system. However, you use a NoSQL database. I don't think that is a better solution for that. Yes, you can. You can use the NoSQL database. However, how will you going to decide on the transactional data? So RDB still be the best for um, banking system because of the strong enterprise tooling. So if you have question on that, you can search more of the types of databases, which systems handle most and better most or uses most of that databases. Okay? So don't just use because alam nyo yung type ng database. It always depends on the data. So I hope clear out yan. So we're moving on to the failing system and exposed data. So we're going to talk about first why the system fails and how the data are being exposed. So when the system fails and the data escapes, that's what we call teamwork. So everyone works. So failures don't happen in isolation actually. Hindi lang siya basta-basta nangyayari. They happen when multiple layers breaks at the system at the same time. So when that all layers actually is weak or breaks, all of you will work together. DBA, DevOps, data analyst, and so on and so forth. And of course, that will actually go under a regulation and investigation, especially if you're handling a very specific data that shouldn't be exposed. So let's go into different layers. So we have what we call the application level failure. So at the application level, vulnerabilities often exposed the database directly, such as the poor validation. Now, the poor input validation, inputs are not checked or sanitized before processing. So you just input the username and the password. So what are we sanitizing? So are we going to change that or are we going to encrypt that or not? So allow malicious data like SQL code to be injected. So your system is so open that the SQL code are easily viewed. Common entry point of the SQL injection attack. Yes, I've seen SQL injection. It just go into this HTTP URL. They're just going to get that some part of that URL and then they're going to inject a SQL that going to get the information of that let's say client or customer. So it is easily be accessed in your application level. So designing your application input process is the way you protect the database. So another thing is the broken authentication of or authorization. We have different third-party authentication and authorization level. So pwede nyo siyang i-incorporate when you process like Keycloak. Their authentication level, they are very good for authentication. They will going to process that and secure your authentication before they reach database. So it will start with the application level, mag-input ka ng username and password, papasok sa authentication system, which is let's say Keycloak, and then after the Keycloak initialize that and that process is correct, then it will move to the database. They allow you to access the database. When authentication failure, like wrong user login, authorization failure, like user access, data beyond their role, it leads a privilege escalation na makapasok sa database. So let's say I was able to log in the SA, I'm able now to access the database in the application level. Another thing is the API vulnerabilities. So technically, most of the systems now uses APIs. So API exposed data without proper filtration or filtering or validation, like missing access checks, returning excessive data. So API can access that actually. So they can actually just get the whole tables, including the other information of the other accounts. So API can do that. So how are we going to secure the API? Excuse me. So another thing is the hard-coded credentials. So some of the developers, especially when I see students, they hard-code the credentials, specifically the database connections that shouldn't be. Credentials shouldn't be in that process because it easily can be accessed by hackers. Credentials stored directly in code or config files. Mabilis lang yan makuha. Easily exposed by repositories or logs. It gives the attackers direct system or database access. So technically, hard coded shouldn't be the actual practice when you're designing a system. Another thing is the unhandled exception. System errors reveal internal details like SQL queries. So when those, including table names or the system structures, it helps the attacker to understand the system. Now, if you're going to handle exception, you must not show the exempted errors. Rename that, rephrase that, create an exemption process like SQL data error 5506. Attackers know that 5506 what is. So let's say error 5000, SQL server error 5000. They know about that. And then let's say the error says column does not exist. Column A does not exist in table A, blah, 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 blah. So you should always use a handled exception. It shouldn't be like that. You can use a database, let's say a database connection error, that's it. So you will not use that specific error. So why do we have this kind of error? So technically, a big example of that is the SQL injection. It may be old, it may be classic, but it's still very relevant today. Attackers always use the SQL injection. How is that happening? Yun nga sabi ko, it is in the URL of your website. Pag nag-throw ka ng HTTPS, may isang bagay doon na kukunin nila, ilalagay nila yung SQL injection or yung SQL process or script, and then babalik sa kanila yung data that you don't know. Pag login mo, pag magre-return niya na naka-login ka na. Pero hindi mo alam on that process, may injected SQL na. So, it actually some of those injections are malicious input, it modifies databases queries, or attackers can read, update and delete the data. So yeah. So these are in the application level. So what causes that failures? These issues often came from weak coding practices, like no secure coding standard are being followed, lack of secure SD system development lifecycle, no code review or testing. So of course, the code should be reviewed and tested, and then rush deployment, speed prioritized over security, quality, and the impact is immediate. Just so you know, just yesterday, last night probably, I do have a rush deployment in the database script. So I have 6 script to run. However, it flagged in the QA that is passed. So it should be deployed to live. When I scan the script, there are things that shouldn't be applied to. So binalik ko siya. That is whether they rush the deployment. I will not agree with that because that will take risk in production. Maghapon or magdamag namin yan isa-solve if that script goes into the production. So you should always, there are prioritizing rush deployments, but making sure that the rush deployments will not cause any breakdown in the production. So what will be at risk when this causes? So data leaks, sensitive information are exposed externally. So let's say username, login, address, yan, pwede yan. Account takeover, for example, commonly this is happen in Facebook. Some attackers are doing the account takeovers. Actually, shouldn't be happening, but technically they take over of some others accounts and the admin accesses. So pag login mo, the next login mo, hindi na sa'yo yung account. And you cannot get that back because the attackers take over those. Another is the system downtime. Exploit can crash or overload the systems. So especially if you're under financial systems, reputation may be damaged. Financial system should never happening this kasi financial yon records. It's a very critical record. Another is the loss of trust. Legal penalties, revenue loss. Sabi ko nga, lalo na sa financial or let's say anything that with money, very critical ang systems niyo. So, one vulnerable endpoint can expose your entire backend in application level. So when you design a system, make sure it is secured. Especially, most of you are planning to become a programmer. So another thing is the data level failures. So from database perspective, misconfigurations is one of the biggest risks. So what kind of data failures usually happen? So data corruption. Data becomes incorrect due to failed operations on bug. So, mali na yung data mo. Data inconsistency. Different systems show in-conflict values such as we do have customer that say, hey, this system shows 500 pesos, but the report shows 400 pesos. That data inconsistency. Public exposed databases such as accessible from the internet without protection. Those is technically the data, not just data in level problem, but all of the system problem, security as well. Poor backup strategies. When you back up, make sure that the data or the backup is working. So I do have a scenario with that. So when I check the backup, it says failed. And then when I talk to the system administrator, is trying to inform me that the backup has been created. And I said, yes, because it runs for 1 hour, but it fails. Can you, and I asked the administrator, can you verify that the system or the backup is correct? Can you try to restore it? And he said, no, it has been created. It has 500 gigabyte of blah, blah, blah record. I understand that. It has created the record, but it doesn't mean that the backup is working. So I raised that issue to the higher ups. And then, yes, there is a problem with the backup. So as a database administrator, you just don't say yes. You always have to look into those small issues. And that backup is not a small issue. Let's say you have a we have like 3 terabytes full backup, and then you just have created a 500 gig. Now that is not a good backup at all. So you always look into these kinds of failures. So example, open database with no password. So such as missing encryption that shows personal identifiable informations, addresses, such as, and then partial updates due to lack of transactional control. Even something as simple as missing unique constraint can cause duplicate data, inconsistent reports, and wrong decisions. By the way, for RDB level, if you don't have unique constraints such as composite index, duplicate data is always an issue. And it shouldn't be an issue. Dito nagiging mahirap ang part ng data analyst because they always check for duplicates data. For example, you paid 1,000 and then there's a duplicate data that you paid another 1,000. So sa report may 2,000. Pero sa real system, sa real accounts ng cashier, 1,000 lang meron. So that is the data inconsistency. Saan galing? Saan napunta yung 1,000? Bakit kulang kami ng 1,000? Ganun yung issue. Dapat In the database level, all the data are consistent in any part of the system, even in the replicated data or even in the replicated cluster. Dapat pare-pareho yan. So in the data level failures, misconfiguration, usually the problem. So incorrect DB, network settings such as, and then lack of constraints and validation. Yeah, that is the most important. Weak backup and data recovery planning. So and of course the poor schema design. So it should be designed by database architecture. So they should know how the data and transactional process are being done. So what are the risks of this? So especially in a business critical system, financial misreporting. Yun na nga yung sabi ko. The client says, hey, you have 500 in the report, but in the system you only have 400. Where's that 100 missing? So compliance violation. We have compliance for the data governance, that the data inconsistency shouldn't be happening. And then, of course, loss of trust in data of the client. So you have to look into that as well. I'm not sure in your database, advanced database system, if the governance has been discussed, but governance is a very important process in the database systems. So in many organizations, governance is the weakest layer. So you'll often see no data ownership, so no responsible person for managing the data. Who should be managing it? Yes, there is a database administrator, but who should be managing the data? So weak access policies, excessive or uncontrolled permission, all of the employees can access, let's say, admin account. So all of you have the um, allowable ways to access or modify the data. So lack of auditing, no tracking of data access or changes. So you don't have that auditing. Auditing is very important in database. So who updates who, when it was updated, why it was updated, what are the updates happen, so what the data changes happen in that audit. So no compliance enforcement, so there's a policies but are not implemented well. So which makes everyone has the admin access, no restriction on critical operations, no tracking of data access, cannot investigate the incidents. For example, there was an issue before, not in the current company, but there's an issue before who access this, who update this. Since they don't have the auditing, of course, they cannot track what happened to that process. Okay, so GDPR or privacy violation, actually, GDPR is the General Data Protection Regulation for the European country or Western country. It can be actually in the Philippines, the Data Privacy Act. So failure meet the regulatory requirements. So they have regulation for the data. So who works with them? Who checks the data to make sure that the process and policies are under that regulations? So if you don't know who owns the data, who access the data, who changed the data, then you don't have the control. So control is very important in database system. That makes the systems fail and the data are exposed. So what are the causes of this governance failure? These issues happen because governance is often seen as overhead. Masyadong, di naman kailangan yun. Okay lang yan. Poor governance framework, like no structured data management approach, can cause lack of policies and standards with no clear rules, no accountability, responsibility are not defined actually. Who are responsible for managing the data in the database? Who are the authorized to modify and of course remove the data? Of course, missing audits, no validation of compliance. So Then what will happen if we don't have this governance policy in place and implemented? Legal penalties, fines, and regulation action. If the data has been exposed, especially in the Philippines, you have 3 days, 72 hours to report to the National Data Commission. Tama ba ako? Something like that. So you have that 72 hours policy, and you have the responsibility to inform all of that personnel. Mag-i-email ka sa lahat ng personal na ganito at ganyan ang nangyari. Once, and I was in a company in Manila, I received a data notice that one of my information was leaked due to an employee trying to download the sensitive information of other employees. So I received that, and they said that all of that information has been retrieved, and they notified the National Data Commission, whatever was that commission, and then they actually already retrieve and already on hold of that employee. So ganun mag-email ka once the data has been exposed. So of course, with that information, some employees, some of that clients may have the loss of trust. So damage to reputation to the business and its client. They will think, why can't you protect the data that I have in your accounts? So it is important that you always protect the data, either in application level, database level, or in governance failure. So now if you're a DevOps engineer, so for example, you become a DevOps engineer, whatever kind of engineer it is, and the DBA does not allow you to have the access in some of the most important environment in the development process, except for the development environment. That means the DBA is doing the correct and proper governance. So if they not allow you to go into the QA because you're a developer, no, do not ask that. You don't have the right to do so unless you're a QA. QA acts as the QA. They have special authorization to do only what a QA should do. DevOps can do access the database for the DevOps development. The DevOps will have the access, proper access for that as well. Data analysts can access the data, but they cannot update anything. They just going to check the data. So they have different access levels. So wag niyong pilitin na kumuha ng access if you don't have the right to do so. So management failures actually is this is where the operation fails. So poor monitoring, hindi nyo chine-check yung system health ng database, wala kayong incident response plan, walang structured response during failure, ano ang gagawin nyo during failure, failed deployment, releases introduce system issues. Kagaya nga ng sabi ko, if I don't check that process in the script, kinaumagahan, marami kaming issue sa buong client. So lack of capacity planning, so system cannot handle growth. So remember that data grows. So what kind of plan do you do? So mag-i-improve ba kayo? Currently, our company is migrating from this environment to another environment to handle growing clients. So currently we have like 70 clients all over Canada and US, and then each client have like an average 30 stores. So each of the stores every day have millions of transactions. So we grow every day. So how do we plan to handle those growth? Kailangan meron din ganun. And then the system, of course, evolves. The application level evolve in this growth. Pag nag-change ang environment sa backend, may possibility, and there's always a possibility that the application level will change as well. So sabay yan, synchronized yan na mag-changed. So system outage, for example, if we have this lack of monitoring and management failure, system outage due to overload, traffic exceeded system capacity. Yes, this happens to me all the time. So if example, lahat talagang pumapasok sa database, dapat I am there to check the backend. I should monitor it. No alert for the database failure. You should have alert for the database failure. Yes, we have. And then if that alerts ping my phone, automatically lahat ng DBA will check the database. No alert deployment breaking production, yun nga sabi ko, changes something in the script may breaks the production. Even just a simple query that has been changed, yes, it can break a production. A very common scenario is that a slow query goes unnoticed. For example, let's say nag-select ka ng list of employee, tapos biglang nag-slow yon, and then the CPU nag-spike, magka-crash ang buong system. So those simple scenarios can cause a lot for all of the clients. So you have to look into that. That's a management system. That is a management process that cause failures. So I hope everyone is still listening. Am I boring? So I hope, yeah, some, as I've told you a while ago, that databases can quite be boring, but it's a hard work. So management issue, what are the common causes of that? So weak DevOps practice, poor integration between teams. So dapat lahat knows what is the current DevOps application or implementation or deployment. No automation, manual process increases errors. Yes, we have currently an automated process to check the current changes in the database. Lack of documentation, dapat may documents ka kung ano na ang na-deploy, what are the changes in that deployment. For communication, it should be aligned. You should communicate to the client what has been updated to the system, including the database. We don't inform the client that there are changes in the database, but there is communication that are changes in the system. But of course, in the inside for the company, there is information that there's changes in the database as well as in the applications. So if this happens, we don't have this information, you say the result will be downtime, system unavailable. Yes, we have there's some, before there are rollbacks happen during in the middle of the day. So rollback is not as easy as others think, especially in the database. Hindi ganun kadali mag-rollback sa database. So, of course, when your rollback system is unavailable, unless you have a backup. Our company has what we call the offline process. They can go offline if the online process is unavailable. If you don't have that, well, technically, clients cannot use the system. So those are the common process as a result of the management failures. Remember, a system is only as reliable as its operation. So a system is only reliable if the operation is working properly. Okay, so the most common failures that happen for database, so we have failing system that results to failing system and exposed data, is the security failures, or is the often final step in breaching. So if you have weak security, like weak authentication and unpatched vulnerabilities, let's say insider threats or network security, these are the open parts for the attackers. So that security must be in place. For example, ransomware. Sorry about that. Ransomware usually encrypting the database. It locks the data until a ransom paid. So technically, attackers is going to get your data. It will not release the data until you paid that amount. So technically, whether it is you paid the amount or not, they still have that data. Stolen credential accessing systems, unauthorized login using leaked credentials, data intercepted due to no HTTPS. That is why penetration testing is really important to application level. Unencrypted data captured in transit. Yes, I was once worked with a team that do penetration testing. So we have this paid and licensed penetration application that checks the system that we have. But if you have that penetration application, you cannot just penetrate anything, any application, just your application, because that is a rule and it's under the law. You cannot do that. So when ransomware attacks often target databases because that's where the most valuable data is. They don't really attack application. They can do application, attackers can do applications, but they want the data being used in that application wherein it is in the database. So they go to the database. That's the reason why um, security is highly highly important in managing the database. So what are the causes? So commonly it is no patched management. So technically databases have patches, updates. So you have to implement that as well. Weak security policies, lack of awareness of users not trained to do insecurity like that, and poor access control. So when we say poor access control, all of you are allowed to do or to become the admin rights, to have the admin rights. So the impact of the security failures is severe. Data breach. This is where the data are exposed. Financial loss. Yes, when the data has been um let's say locked by the ransomware, um technically all the data is in there. You cannot access that data. That is a financial loss for some clients. Legal consequences, of course. You will the company will face legal consequences because the data has been exposed. Full system is compromised, yes. So you don't have the database, then of course the attackers will gain that complete control. So failures are not isolated. They happen across layers. Small weaknesses accumulate into major incidents actually. Konting-konti, maliliit lang na bagay, but when it is accumulated, magiging major incident siya ng application or ng buong system. So most issues are basic but ignored. Okay? Strong system required secure application, reliable data management, proper governance, effective operation, and then strong security. It is not one failure, it's the combination of that breaks the system. Okay, so when you become a DevOps, you have to work with the people. QA, DBA, security, admin. So when you become a programmer, you just don't sit there and program. You are actually going to talk to multiple people. Okay, so a system is only strong as its weakest layer, and the attackers only need one. So I just need like, hey, your authorization is failing. I'm going to enter that, and boom. So let's begin with the governance. So how do we manage the database and its security? Let's proceed with the governance. So governance is actually important because it is where laid out the policies and rules. It established the policies of data access, retention, and classification. So it defines the data owner, the stewards, custodian, and security officers. It enforces least privilege access and regular roles review to reduce exposure. So dito, inaayos na kung ano ba ang role mo as a person in the database. So now let's talk about data lifecycle. So data is not static, it moves through stages. So creation, storage, usage, archiving, deletion. So many organization focus only in storing of data. So nag-i-store ka lang ng data. How about the long-term data? Yung mga information na pwede nang i-archive, i-remove, para those information are saved in the other process na. So, historical backups that are not encrypted archive data that still contains sensitive information. And those are the important things that the management should look into. Just to let you know that we archive further 6 months of data. Every day we archive. All data should be archived. And those archived should be backed up as well. But here's the thing. In the transactional system, we archive 6 months, more than 6 months of data. We just have the 6 months of data of all clients in that transactional process. But in the reporting, all of the data should be in there because the data should be in the reports. So how do we do that? We have special replication to do it. So that is a process in the management of the database as well. So what are the risk, audit, and compliance? So it is a continuous process when we need to identify the risk, the system failures, misconfiguration, insider threats. So the impact of this, we prioritize based on the impact. This is how we focus on what matter most. So we check if we can do audit trails, and so many more. So identify the threats from the system failures, such as misconfiguration, insider threats, or insider risk. Implement continuous risk assessment every day. So you have to implement risk assessment for your database and application system. And you also have to maintain the audit trails and perform regular compliance check if your let's say employees are still using the correct account. If not, then why they are using different accounts. So report metrics, stakeholders, use automated auditing to reduce gaps. Just so you know, those perform regular compliance check. Some of employees give their accounts to other employees. So that shouldn't be happening. Security breach. So common system failures are hardware faults, software bugs, and configuration drifts lead to downtime of data. So not all failures are attacks. Many of that are internal issues. Hindi naman lahat ng failures ay galing sa attackers. Some of that are the misconfigurations, such as hardware failures, software bugs, configuration drifts, or nagbiglang change in configuration. And then that is technically dangerous to the database, especially in production. So a single point of failure like single database instance without replication can bring down of the entire system. This is what I'm talking about. So we have data replication wherein the data is being replicated and there is a replicated cluster. When we say replicated cluster, if this main database fails, siya ang sasalo. They have the same data. Actually, they have the same data, and then when this fails, this will in an instant, like less than 30-second gap, na hindi niya to na-call, this will open. Siya na yung magiging database, primary database. Then, the system administrator and the DBA will find out why the primary database failed. That's the reason why this is what we call the 99.99% high availability. Mag-fail man yung isa, may backup na isa. So, that is no single point of failure. May backup ka. To mitigate this, implement redundancy. Yes, that is a cluster replication. Maintain patch management. Use strong change control processes. So, those are the things and the security. So, incident response and remediation, of course. excuse me, um, a proper incident response plan includes 4 phases: detection, containment, eradication, recovery. So, but often overlooked step is the post-incident review. Wala kang post-incident review. So, meron ka na-detect mo na-contain mo naalis mo na, may recovery ka na. Yes, nagawa niyo yun during that failure. Pero wala kayang post-incident review. Ano yung gagawin niyo? Ano yung next plan niyo? Kasi nagamit niyo na yung current plan niyo. It shouldn't be happening again. So that is the post incident review. Yes, we have that. If there's something happened in the database, we always have that post incident review. And apakatagal ng meeting yan. And I don't like that. That's the reason why as much as possible I monitor the database every time. Another thing is the optimization and performance. Performance tuning is relational. In databases is a continuous process. Yes. Let's say the SQL script is slow today, and then you optimize that. Tomorrow you have to optimize that again, because index optimization, indices improve query, but index can be overused. So napupuno yung processes ni index, and you have to optimize that again. So it is a continuous process. So commonly, a slow query today can be a system failure tomorrow. So you have to check your processes every time. So I think non-relational database tuning. Commonly, pag non-relational, you have to check the slow queries. You have the what we call the graph to check on that, the query store, the statistics. Pag non-relational naman is the commonly it requires different approach. Usually this is on how the data are being stored in the database for NoSQL, because they have different schema. Another thing is the partition. So you can do a check if you can partition your database. That means the table are divided into different parts. The table schema, you will see it as one table, but at the back end in the storage, yung table na yan may table A -1, table A -2. That means it is partitioned pwedeng by date. So let's say the table A-1 is contains the year 2020 to 2025 data, and then the partition table A-2 is the current data that we have. So partitioned yan. Mas mabilis yon, especially in reporting, kasi when you select data only for the current year, mabilis, konti lang. Hindi niya na kailangan i-check yung 2020, let's say 2020 to 2025 data. So that is another way to improve performance. So yeah, monitoring, scaling, and backup, of course, it monitors, must cover the latency, throughput, error rates, ano ba yung mga errors, resource usage. Without monitoring, you are blind to what your system's behavior. Mga simple lang na mga let's say, nag-drop si system, pag-run nyo ulit, okay na. Yung pag-drop na yon dapat ma-check nyo bakit yun nag-drop yung system. So, mga ganon. Okay, so data security. So what is happening today? Ito yung common na nangyayari na ngayon. Currently happening as of the moment. So for data security and privacy, common solutions is the role-based access control, or the RBAC. I don't know if you have created the RBAC, or I don't know if you have the row level security, but they are one of the best implementation for the relational databases. So I'll show you what. So this is the RBAC. I don't know if you can see it as good as clear, but I'm going to show you. We have created a user, let's say DBA user, and then QA user. When we added I'm not sure, are you able to see it? Can anybody share a live? Nakikita niyo? Because I don't know if I can maximize this one. Okay, so in that arrow part, this one, so I set the schema DBO to QI role. I set that schema to QI role. That means, ang sabi ko, si QA, ang pwede lang niyang ma-access is yung mga tables under DBO. But when I tried to run using the QA user under the select asterisk from the schema of sales LT with the table customer, it says here the error, select permission is not allowed to customer, blah, 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 under the STL, sales LT schema. Hindi siya allowed kasi kay DBO lang siya allowed. That means you can just go ahead and contain what can the access of this role is in the database. So properly. Now, what is a schema? So we have DBO, yan, sample ko, yan ang DBO. Dapat ito lang yung ma-access niya. And then the sales LT, dapat hindi niya yun ma-access. So again, I run a select asterisk from DBO. Kanina, select asterisk from sales LT.customer. Ang sabi, hindi siya allowed. Nung nag-run na ako ng select asterisk from DBO.build version, it shows a record. So that is the process of the RBAC. However, I cannot show you a role level security. I do have a role level security, but that has a data, mga sensitive data. That's the reason why I cannot show you. This is only an example one, but a role level security is, for example, ako si Chris, ang pwede ko lang ma-access ang lahat ng sinave ko or in-store ko. Hindi ko ma-access yung mga sinave or in-store ng iba. For example, our company has different client. So, those clients such as, sabihin ko na lang si SM, client mi si SM, client mi si Robinson, client mi si Vista. Si SM, we implemented row-level security. Pag nagla-login si system nagla-login si SM sa system me, ang mahihiling niya lang gabos na data ni SM. Dawa mayong work clause. Dawa mag-search at select asterisk TBL customer. Ang maluwas lang duman si gabos na data ni SM. Pag nag-select man si Robinson, yun Robinson's data lang ang mahihiling niya. Pag nag-select si Vista, ang mahihiling niya man lang si Vista. Pero pag ako na DBA nag-select, gabos ito mahihiling. So that is a row level security. Dawa mayo yan where condition, like where SM, where Robinson, where Vista, no. That is a row level security. It encrypts the row depending sa access ng user. So that is very important. So another one is the performance scalability ng mga slow process. I will not going to discuss this anymore, but I will show you this one. This is a very important one. This is what we called execution plan. Pag may script kayo na iraran, you have to look into the execution plan. Pag nahiling niyo araw ngayang kani, technically, dai siya magayon na script, SQL script. So ano yung mahihiling nindo? Pag nahiling nindo ng parallelism, ang purpose ng parallelism is to divide the process into multiple CPU. So ang nagibuhon niya para mabilis. Pero dahil marami siyang ginagamit na CPU, high CPU processed siya. And then another thing is that nested loops, usually for inner joins ito. So, okay ang inner joins pag small table siya, pero pag millions of records, ang ginigibo kaya kang inner joins, nagbabalik-balikan niya yan, ininestad niya yan if may data na connected duman sa another table. So, nested loops become very expensive at scales. Another is table spool, or what we call the lazy spool. It temporarily store the data in a cache. So, pag para temporary store ka ng data sa cache, memory expensive siya. So, para kuha mo si memory, It shouldn't be happening. Another thing is the stream aggregates. So nagpaparasam ka, nagpapara-count ka, it requires sorted data. Pag sorted ang data mo, let's say it is not sorted like kinuha mo na lahat ng data in proper set, haluyon po ang sum, count, lahat ng aggregated functions. So, it causes heavy memory and CPU usage. So, dapat, pag nag-keep ka or nag-implement ka ng SQL script sa database, you have to check this one. This is what we call execution plan. Ma'am, nasa siya, nasa SQL Server siya, yung lang siya luman, i-click lang nindo tong part na to, maluwas na ni. So the key is to move the reactive troubleshooting to proactive performance monitoring. So, ano ang good sample kang SQL script? This is a good sample. If you have noticed, instead of nested join, it uses the merge. So merge data are good for large databases. And this part, the index scan, whether not all of the index scan, it should be the best one is the index, not the index scan. It should be another term, pero index scan is okay then because it uses the index. In the other sample, it doesn't use any index. It just scan all the tables. So index is really important, especially in row level security. Row level databases. So mas malinig ang execution plan nito. I think you can have this more, study this more if you are using databases. You can just check this one. So it uses as well the clustered index. When we say clustered index, these are the PK, and then the index can usually uses the non-clustered index. So clustered index and the non-clustered index. So they help to improve the process. So I hope that is a bit clear. That part is a long discussion kung gusto nyong malaman yon. Pero that is just an overview. Ganun dapat chine-check dapat nyo ang SQL script before you implement. Okay? Cloud and distributed system, and actually these are just a replication process. So replication lag is common issue in replicas that are not in sync with the primary database. For example, what I commonly experience is that the central server and the reporting server breaks the replication. So that means that the data in the reporting server are missing because it's being replicated. So common issues for the replication is this. So you have issues right here, and then there are numbers or commands that is not being right or run to the replicated database or server. So you have to always monitor your replications. Replication is more complex than this. This is two-way replication. So we have different kinds of replication. We have transactional, we have merge, we have another one is synchronized, I guess, or that another term, but we use transactional. But what we have in transactional is more complicated kasi meron kaming 6 replications, I guess, or 7 replication, and then my publication na 7, and then we have 4 or 5 subscription. So, ganun yun ka-complex. So, you have to check that replication. You have to monitor this one. So, that means the reporting data are equal as almost as central. May mga latencies naman yan, okay lang yun, pero dapat hindi siya error, kagaya nito. May error siya. May mga latencies, kasi hindi naman agad-agad yun itinatapon yung application. Let's say 10 seconds delay yan, okay, that's fine. Pero wala dapat error. So, ganun. So, data quality and integrity. So, usually, pag data quality, dapat walang duplicate records, walang missing constraint, and then inconsistent format. So, ito yung common na nangyayari ngayon. So, usually, you have to enforce the PK, FK, and unique keys. So, yeah, that is the validation. And then, so data quality and integrity sample, the ID101 has a duplicate data in ID105. So, yan yung sinasabi ko. Bakit may dalawang, let's say, nagbayad ka and then a duplicate record runs. Pero ang binayad lang naman ni customer 1,000. And then sa record mo may 2,000 kasi dalawang 1,000. So, sa sales, 1,000 lang naman ang hawak ni cashier, pero sa report, 2,000. So, that's data inconsistency. Kawawa si cashier. Mahahanapan siya ng another 1,000. So, ganun yun. Dapat you have to enforce integrity. So, migration and version control. So, dapat ito, any changes in the database should be implemented. You can do manual deployment or automated deployment. So, mga tools. Currently, I'm using, this is actually, sample lang ito ng AdventureWorks DB, but this is what I'm using actually. So, this is what, Redgate Flyway. This is from company. So, it checks the current database and the repository. Ano yung changes nila? So, ano yung pinagkakaiba nila? Equal ba sila? Pag hindi equal, so you have to push to the repository yung differences. Okay? But you do not just pull the records. Kasi i-overlap niya yung production database niya. You have to check the changes and repository as well. And then the backup. So, ito yung nasabi ko nga na there was an issue with the backup job. And then I'm just asking if the admin can look into it. So I raised that ahead to the higher ups. And then that they tested the recovery, and that recovery is not fails. It fails. So we note they already notified that the storage for the backup is already full. That's the reason why the database backup is not completing successfully. So I always have to look into those monitoring as well. That is what we call the I call it as just a monitor. I run down into all my I run down checks, scan all of the maintenances that we have. So just to make sure all of this are running as it moves at it is needed, because we already have sometimes we ask the admin or the system admin to restore some backups. So we need that information. So we have to have that clear. Another thing is the testing environment inconsistency. So sa DevOps, sa Dev and Test, mabilis, sa production hindi. Kasi magkaiba yung data, magkaiba din yung processes. Iba din yung setup ni production, iba din yung setup ni Dev and the QA. So you have to mask production the data for processing or use the staging environment na parang si production siya. So when you test, you have to mask those information as well. Dapat pareho para alam mo na yung pag-process mo ng script mo, yung result is tama. Kasi magkaiba nga ang dev setup. Kasi ang dev setup is commonly mababa lang naman kasi sa production eh. Tapos konting-konti yung data. So pag niran mo yung script na yun sa production, yun na yun. May magkaiba na. Iba na yung inconsistent na. Sa dev, mabilis. Sa production, hindi. So you have to check that as well. So what is the task of the DBA? So it ensures that the data is accurate, systems are fast, access is controlled, failures are recoverable. So yeah. And common challenges is that constant firefighting. We always have this every day. So we always check the performance at the back end. So hindi nila yan nakikita, but we always do that. And then balancing security and accessibility. So some people will just ask us that they need an access from this and that. But of course, we have to look into it. The policies have to be set as well. And then handling scaling demands, pag masyado ng marami, we often have a downtime in reporting, not in the central, because the storages are already full. So yan. Managing complex distributed systems, replications, and then the 24/7, yes, responsibility. So anytime your code, you have to, especially if the system works 24/7. Okay? Often become engineer as well as a risk engineer, the DBA. So we are a risk engineer as well. So when everything works, nobody notices. When something fails, everyone look for the DBA. Yes. Just like probably Tuesday, I was being looked for many times because there is slowness happen in the central. So I have to look into it. And I worked for how many hours for that? And I was in what we call war room meeting. It's a working meeting to solve the issue. So yeah, that's all. I hope everyone has able to get some points in the seminar. So if you have questions, clarifications, violent reaction, for question you can, I want somebody ask if they can ask. If they can raise their hands, pwedeng mag-issue lang. Pwedeng magtanong, hindi naman ako nangangain. You can call me Ma'am Vic. We'll see each other again sa office. Ano, mayong mahapot. Ano, boring. Baka ang iba nagtururong na, naka-online lang. Yeah, Sir Ronald says there was a quiz. There is a quiz. But it will be given by Sir Ronald. Actually. Why is that sad? You should be listening. Oh, really? Sige, tanong na kayo, dali. Tatanong lang kayo, ako naman ang sasagot. Hindi naman ako yung tatanong. O pwede naman baliktadin natin, ako yung tatanong. Yes, kayo ang sasagot. Ano tayo sa Ronald, yung ruleta tayo ng mga names. We still have like 30 minutes before 12. Oh, umabot pala tayo ng 1 hour. I thought it just a 30 minutes seminar. Anyone? Wala. It was like, nobody is asking still. Are we still have students in here? Do we? Maghahanap ako ng familiar na name. Since we, yeah, I saw Samben's familiar name. Golf, do you have any questions, clarifications, violent reaction?
I have no questions po.
Yeah, may po.
Walang question.
Bakit? Ako na lang ang magtatanong. I would like to ask something. Parang konti na lang na estudyante. Nasaan na yung iba? Hindi ko ma-view. Paano ma-view yung lahat ng estudyante ron? I mean, hindi ko ma-view kung sino yung lahat ng estudyante. Like all. Paano ba mag-check ng estudyante lahat? Oo, yan. Ayan pala. Hmm. Actually, dahil man. Baka nai-stress na ning mga ini. May quiz ka pa. Yeah, I'm good. So if you don't have questions, oh yun, Jamer Marabuenos. If I read that correctly.
Good
Yes,
morning
please.
po.
Good
So,
morning.
yung question ko lang po about sa company. So, how how do companies how do companies detect that their database has already compromised?
Ano daw? Sorry. Ano po?
Eh,
Paulit po.
audible po ba?
Medyo napuputol-putol ka lang.
Sige po, ulitin ko na lang po.
Yes.
So, the question is, how do companies detect that their database has already been compromised?
How do we detect? It is easy. Una-una, something's happening in your database that is not actually should happening. If you monitor your database correctly, malalaman mo na yung mga sessions doon shouldn't be the correct sessions. Kasi alam mo dapat yung pumapasok na session sa'yo. Alam mo yung mga script na nag-run. And suddenly, if something happens, something like there's a session that shouldn't be in here, you should be able to detect that. And then the anomalies like and suddenly the database failure such as is easily be detected. Kasi unang-una hindi ka na makakapasok as a DBA sa database system niyo pag may mga anomalies na 'yon. Madali lang 'yon. That's the reason why monitoring is really important. I cannot show you, but there is a way that we can monitor it. There is a process that we can monitor it. Yes, that is easy to detect.
Okay po. Thank you so much
Yes.
po.
Yes, being a being a DBA, you do work so much in the back end. So, you have to look into that process every time. So, ako nira-run ko yung script na yan like every like 30 minutes. So, for me to be able to detect any anomalies, let's say slow queries, may mga insiders or whatever anomalies it is. So you have to look into that. So yeah. Any questions? Ano pa? Mga questions. Good morning. Have you ever encountered breaches or issues in your work? Good morning po. Have you encountered breaches or issues po in your work? If yes po, what it's like collaborating with the rest of the team and get everyone back on track? Ooh, love it. When we say breaches, wala pa naman. And that's very good thing. Wala pa naman breaches na nangyayari. Pero may mga issues na nangyayari. Katulad ng the SQL script that runs suddenly ran for too long. Ang script dapat namin sa central that should be running for like a split seconds. And then, especially, ang script kasing iyon, ginagamit yun ng multiple client. So, let's say a million users use that. For a million user that use that script na hindi siya na complete ang process in less than split seconds, ma-overhead yung CPU niya. So, how do we collaborate with the people? Unang-una, ang tatawagin ko niyan si system ad. So, i-raise ko na yun kay system ad. I-check din namin para sa namin yung makikita. Ang pangalawa kong i-check niyan yung script. Aayusin ko yung script. And when I fix the script to have some hints that will go run, so both of us, the system admin and I, we're going to check if nag-okay yung issue. If nag-okay yung issue, ipapasa ko yung script sa DevOps. Ipapa-verify ko ulit sa kanila. And then, after that, i-check ulit ng QA, itetest yun. And then, after that, i-redeploy ko. Pero nagawan ko na siya ng paraan. And then, after that, may post-analysis. Ano yung mga kailangan gawin? For example, masyado nang marami yung data sa central, kailangan na namin mag-archive. Maraming process yung ganun. So we have to collaborate with the team. Sometimes we need our API masters. So we have what we call the war zone or the war room meeting. So it is ongoing meeting to verify those issues. Yep. So that's how we work on that. So as a kasama din po dun ang DevOps ha. Kasama din ang DevOps. For example, may bug or something, sila ang mag-access nun. So those meetings are working meetings. So for people na magiging programmer, these are your magiging itsura nyo pag may mga deployments na nag-fail. So yeah, that's the issues in the database as well. So both I'm always been part if there's an issue kasi kailangan ma-check yung data. If the data is correct, then it should work. Another thing, replication can also break the system. So if the replication fails, it will accumulate the logs in the replications, and then when it accumulates the logs, yung replication command hindi siya nagpa-process perfectly, it can block the system as well because replication lock the tables. So if we have acquired lock, so no insert, no updates, no delete process will happen for the APIs. So sa API running din siya. Another thing that affects the databases, the API balance. Pag masyadong pag mali ang setting ni API, it can cause blocking as well in the system. So in the database system. So maraming issues that we have encountered. So that's how we work through. You have to know who person you have to talk to, or actually you don't have to because the director will set up a meeting for everyone who's connected to that process. That's how we solve the process. And sometimes it will just be backed a couple of minutes for the clients. Yep. Is that solved, Marie? If that answer your question, Miss Maria Antoinette? Hello? Any questions? Okay. Good morning po. How do you see AIs changing the daily workflow of the backend developer in the one? Okay, and then don't you should be okay. Sino yun? Okay. How do you see AI and what's LLMS, Ron? I'm not very familiar with it. But I can give you the ano, yeah. Bec but I can give you on the database side, but the backend kasi magkaiba kasi yan sa backend developer sa database, okay? But in AI sa DBA, hindi pa siya fully implemented kasi we're talking about data. For the next 2 to 3 years, probably may mga application na pwedeng i-AI mo. Pero when we say AI kasi, we and the database, we have sensitive information and very, very important that those sensitive information are not to be breached, and we don't know yet if the AI is secured enough to process those informations. But there are applications with AI that can check the performance. They just check the performance. So let's say the AI will just say, hey, this script is taking too long for like 3 to 2 minutes already. That AI can say, these are the probable solutions. So yes, that can be part, but technically on the database side, AI is not yet fully implemented. Hindi pa siya ganun secure for those sensitive information. And I actually, as a DBA, I will not going to implement any AI information, any AI based application for databases that will breaks everything in production. So yeah. Sino yun? Sino yung nagtanong? Hindi ko nabasa. Yeah. Okay, Elmer. Thank you, Elmer, for the question. And then, yes, who raised their hand? Who else? Sige lang po, tanong lang po. Tanong lang po. Hey! Just so you know, being a programmer is not just being just a not just being a programmer. DevOps engineer. So, pwede kasi kayong itapon kahit saan if you are a DevOps engineer. Is not just working, developing system. You work with the team. So, if shy kayong magsalita, mag-start na kayo ngayon magsalita kasi every time tatanungin kayo at mag-meeting kayo. So, IT is not just you don't talk because you want to IT because hindi masyado nakikipag-usap. No. The reality is that you talk about everything, solving problems in the systems. So, May nag-raise ng hand kanina eh. Sino yun? Yeah, Mr. Kabase, go ahead. Don't be shy. I won't eat. We're almost done, Ron. We're almost 12. Tama ba? Tama bang oras ko? Wow! I thought I will finish like 30 minutes. Hindi pala. Any questions? Any real word like if you're interested to become a DBA, if you're interested to become DevOps, QA, whatever. So for those BSIT students, more of BSIT do the application designing, correct? Ron, they are more of the application level. So yeah, yeah, correct. So you have to look into this as well. If you want to become a DBA, you are welcome to do so. If you want, just so you know, I don't develop system, but I'm part of the developing of the system. I don't code, but I do check. So yeah, I do code SQL script. So, but not a development for the system. So if you don't want to become a developer, so medyo hindi naman kayo ganun ka-interested mag-develop ng systems, pwede kayo sa DBA, pwede kayo sa QA, yan, gano'n. So, it's a part pa din ng DevOps operation. So, yeah. Sa industry pa din kayo. Any questions? If we don't have, um, I think we're good. Ron? Yes. Yeah. Another question ba? Meron pa, sige. Another question po for me, ha. What is your first job po after graduating? What was it? Like climbing the career ladder? Oh, that was in here in my second. What was it? Where was it? Yeah. I was invited. Yeah. Parehas kami ni Sir Ronald. I was a part-time instructor teaching major computer science subjects, including database management. I was really interested with the database really since then, since college. So after that, I know that teaching is not, I know that it is not just my long-term plan, but I'm really going to industry process. So I started after that. I drastically changed from education or academe to industry. So I become a system engineer. That where I develop systems. And then more often after the 3 years, I moved my works on database systems, servers. So ako yung nagre-design ng database ng buong company, blah 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 blah, and architectural designs. And then after that, since hawak ko na halos buong databases nung company, I become a database server from another company and then move towards databases. So naging focus ko is database. Nag-DevOps operation pa din ako, nag-application level pa din naman ako, pero more of databases na siya. Yeah. For you, just so you know, if you wanted to become something like this, you may start those work or engineering task that may be related to that process para hindi masyadong drastic yung change nyo. Kasi yung career change kasi mahirap lalo na sa industry. For example, DevOps ka tapos biglang kang mag-QA, medyo mahirap yon. So you have to work on that process na ando na siya sa circle na yon. Okay? So if you want to become a QA, start with a QA, manual QA tester, blah, 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 blah. And then to become a lead QA or a senior QA, automation QA. So yan. Hanap na hanap ngayon ang mga automation QA. Just so you know. Anything? Any from the other team? I mean, students? So yeah. Ron, I think we're good. You're welcome, Miss Antoinette. Yeah. Okay. Okay lang yan. Okay lang yan. No problem. Okay, we're good. Oh, walang tulugan. Tapos mag-aayos din kayo ng aircon. Ref. Uy, maganda yun. Yung dalawa, I think more of the backend's development if you really want to become on the backend. So, yeah. So, from the DevOps going to the database, yun yung backend na yun. So, if you really wanted to learn, you have to join that group. Yeah. 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 Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Ah, sige. Mag-open daw kayo ng account. Hello? 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 Oh, ito na yung nagtanong sa akin. I'm looking for the people who ask me, students who ask me. Ay, nakatindog ako. 2 hours ako nakatindog today. Ah, magti-t-shirt, sinakahigda. Ayun. Bye.